Welcome back, everyone, where our first contract was just solidified. We're joined now with Muffin Cutie from Team Fear, who just earned a spot in Season 3. First and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, it's kind of a weird question to ask, but I mean, really, how does it feel, man? I mean, like, it was like a job interview.
Yeah,
today.
it really is. And I mean, I've never worked an honest day of my life, and so this is going to help me prolong doing that for as long as possible. And
all right, just
I
make
really
sure you got to punch out on the way out now.
Oh yeah,
you're officially employed.
I mean, it hit us like immediately after the second game was over. Like, that's it. This is what we've been working for so long, and now we have it. So I mean, just it's an amazing feeling to finally be done with these games and know what we're going to be doing for the
What was the mental preparation coming into this for you guys?
I mean, we played against Meat Playground like pretty frequently, and we kind of have like a good track record against them. But I mean, we played against them at IPL, and they 2-0'd us. Like, it wasn't even close. But we've been practicing really hard, and with the new lineup, we're really comfortable. There's a lot more communication, so we just like go into the games running and just like win them all.
When we look at both the games that you guys played today, I mean, in contrast, the second game, which showed a lot of Fear dominance, versus the first game, which was a really close and very exciting game. I think everyone we were watching with just said, you know, what a great way to start day 2 off. Was that like going into this game as cautious as possible, or do you feel like, I mean, walk me through Game 1 and then how things changed going into Game 2.
The first game, just some really weird things happened for us early. We saw them move around the map in a specific way, and we knew that it was there, and then we just kind of like reacted to it a little bit poorly, so they got a lead early. And for us, when we are not playing ahead at the beginning of the game, it's kind of iffy for us. We're not really that great from playing from behind. And so when they got ahead early, we just like, okay, we just need to chill. We have Kog'Maw, you know, we have the better late game, just farm, just constantly keep farming. Even if we lose like a couple towers. I mean, I think they got like, what, 3 or 4 dragons in the first game. We're like, whatever, we got Kog'Maw, and Chris has got that hype, so we're just going to like let him farm, and we have Karthus, and we just stuck to that, and then we just had like really clean team fights near the end of the game, and we just won it from there.
So where does it start for you? I mean, like, do you go home, you know, tomorrow, Monday, and you guys start like focusing immediately on Season 3?
I mean, we've been like really focused about this specific tournament for the past like, I mean, almost a month. Like, we've been playing every day, 10 hours a day. So I mean, once we get home, I think we may like try to complain to our manager enough to like, just give us 3 days. Just give us 3 days just to relax. We got it.
Didn't we earn it?
Yeah, we earned the 3 days, and then after that, it's just, you know, right back into playing every day.
So this is obviously a big evolution in you know, Riot Esports. Season 3 is huge. What does it mean to you as a team, Fear, to be one of the first teams that will be compete in what will arguably, you know, be a historical moment for League of Legends and esports in general?
I mean, this is what a lot of us have wanted to do for so long. Like, we know that it's out there to be able to make esports like your job, and you can just make a living doing that. And we've been working on this for so long. I mean, some of us have been playing this game for like 2-3 years, and it's just it feels really nice to have this opportunity. It feels really nice for Riot to give us this opportunity, and it mostly just feels the best to know that we put our work into it and we accomplished what we set out to do.
That was, you know, absolutely amazing. Congratulations to you guys. Congratulations to the team, and we can't wait to see what happens coming out into Season 3.
Absolutely.
We're tossing things over to Jat on the telestrator, and he's going to dig down some moments from the game. One key moment for us from that last match that really made an impact.
Thanks, guys. And this was the first game between Meat Playground and Fear. They'd been turtling almost the entire game. They managed to sneak one Baron. The Baron was now off, and it was Meat Playground's attempt to assault the base. They're up 22 kills to 17 at the time, and it looks like Meat Playground gets a really clean initiation as we play it here. Malphite goes in, gets the ultimate on multiple people. Arthurline's going to hop up as well. The Jarvan ult is going to come down, and I want to pause it right here, because at the moment, it looks like they're winning the fight. Everyone is low on here. Fear, Muffin Cutie is almost down. Zuna is trapped in the Cataclysm. X-Hazard's pretty much bursted down the majority of ManCloud's life as he's about to die up here, and you think that the fight's going to be going for them, but diving through a Karthus, especially at this moment in the base, can be very difficult. Let's play it again for a little bit. You can see Zuna flashes out. Everyone gets stuck in the Defilers are going out, and the Requiem lands. Now, if I can pause it again right here, you see an incredibly low Jarvan, NK Inc. Lemon God is low. Balls' GA just popped. Arthurlon's over on the other corner. He's low, and it looks like Zuna's about to clean up. But Meat Playground has other plans. They decide they want to try to go in, and one by one you'll see everyone on Meat Playground thinks they can kill Zuna, and they can't quite take it down. So let's play this again. When we saw the replay of this clip, Zuna had intense concentration, and he wasn't saying a single word. Everyone tried, no one could take him down, and right at this moment, as they pick up the last kill, he just screamed out in success. This was really the start of the game turn for Fear, and once they won this game, they took the momentum straight through to the second. That game wasn't even that close. Once again, though, huge congratulations to Team Fear. First team to officially qualify here. They're the 4th team in to the league. Send it back to Riven Wheat.
Thanks, chat. Amazing. It's TSM, CLG, Dignitas, and now Team Fear to make it through. An absolutely amazing job. Meanwhile, Team Meat Playground may have lost, but their journey is not quite over, ladies and gentlemen. What did these guys need to do if they want a spot to win and get that contract?
It's an important question, Rivington. I mean, there's very few instances where you get a second chance. This is like
That's
a real-life
true.
GA right now, right?
Yeah.
So Meat Playground is gone, but now they've got tomorrow, and it most certainly is, it most certainly is an opportunity that they can go for. So, you know, I don't know. They've got to focus. They've obviously just got to know that, hey, this wasn't the end of the road for us, and that is what is going to be one of the most important mental things they can prepare themselves for going into the next round. So let's take a look at our next matchup where we've got Dirtnap Gaming versus Good Game University. I think both these teams want this badly.
Dirtnap Gaming and Good Game University is probably going to be one of our closest matchups, or one of the ones that people are like, you know, which way could this go? I'm going to say that Good Game University, just, you know, coming from being that team dynamic, everybody knows them. They're a very likable team. Not that Dirtnap isn't, but I'm sure there's a little bit more community backing behind them. They've been to the MLGs. They've showed very well. You know, Nintendo Dax, Zion Spartan, those guys have great followings. I Am Anjo and Don't Mash Me are going to be a great bottom lane for them. But Chris, JD Wu, Prolly, Chris, we've seen him on Riven. If Riven is even open in these next matchup of games, it's going to be nasty. I'll be very surprised.
Do you think that this one will most certainly go 2-1? I mean, I feel like it has the potential to.
Yeah, exactly. It's that 50-50 matchup that nobody knows, but like I said, slight favor, I'd say, to Good Game University. All this coming up right after a quick break, guys. As Day 2 of the Season 3 qualifiers continues, don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Los Angeles for Day 2, Season 3. We've just seen our first team go through. Team Fear. I am Lee Dearman Smith. Joining me is Joshua Jack Leesman, the Analyst Man, as he's become known.
Oh, man.
You've been loving that desk. It's been
The
working wonderful
Telestrator
over
is
there.
really fun, actually. I think there's a lot more we can do with that in the future.
I think there will be, and I think we'll be seeing that as well. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the next match of the day. It's going to be Dirt Nap Gaming battling against Good Game University. These two teams have played each other so often, Jat. They know exactly what they're against. So much so that they wanted to scrim each other this morning.
Well, that's the thing. They were scrim partners coming into this tournament, and they said, well, let's just scrim a team that's not in our group. Let's just practice as much as we possibly can with them and try to get good. Sure enough, they're facing each other in what's almost an elimination match. And this morning, one of the things here is they couldn't get on the live client because we are, you know, unattackable and stuff. So they just wanted to scrim each other. They're like, we don't want to practice with bots. We want to practice with players. Let's scrim the team we're playing. We're like, are you sure you want to do that?
I mean, they could have. They could have easily done that. They weren't going to do anything. It's more mechanical training.
That's really
than
all they
anything.
wanted, yeah. They would have probably, they just played the, like, random champions, Corky versus Vayne mid or something, and just practice their mechanics. But, you know, I think they'll be ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting to see. So how do you stack these teams up? Starting out, it's going to be the blue team is going to be Dirt Nap Gaming. They're coming into this one as the higher seed. They won 2-0 compared to, you know, Good Game University. Had a little bit of a struggle through their group, but they had a tough group.
I'm very curious about how this works out because Dirt Nap Gaming was first place in their group, but that was kind of considered the weak group.
Yeah.
And we just saw the number 2 seed from the weak group, which was Meat Playground, had a hell of a first game against Fear. If they would have been able to pull that one through, I think they could have held some momentum because you could tell they were defeated right after that one. So Dirt Nap Gaming was a lot stronger than Meat Playground in the group yesterday. Prawley, we saw his mid lane Jace twice in a row, and that was just devastating for the enemy team pretty much all the time. But in the interview, he said, that was our safe comp. These are the reasons we didn't want to take any risk, because they were going single-owning yesterday. They consider this game 2 losses and you're out instead of just 1. They didn't think that if they'd lost a game, they'd be able to come back in that group stage.
And if you think of the matches we saw this morning already, the 2 games we've seen, is there anything in there that you saw today that maybe they didn't do yesterday that we think we may even see from these 2 teams as well? You know, some sort of strategies. It's like they played it safe. Okay, we got through. Like, especially Team Fear. They 2-0'd the group. They got through safe. Is there anything that they're okay, today is the day we unleash some secret strategy? We saw Man yesterday unleashing the fact that they're going to do base races every game.
Just crush down the base. And Marn actually revealed to us his 5-man team comp before he even started.
And that was the second game. Yeah, that was the 5-man team. As soon as I came out of the second match, I was like, that's the exact team he told us. He really wasn't lying.
Yeah, you can never tell with that guy.
Yeah, never could tell quite with him.
But for DNG, or Dirt Nap Gaming, I don't think it's going to be too much. We know that there's huge amounts of synergy between Prawley and their jungler, JD Wu. That's the whole reason he joined that team after Team Legion disbanded. He really likes the skill of that guy. Even talking with some of the other people here today, they were really impressed with JD Wu's Nocturne specifically. They saw a few instances where he would get the fear tether on people and then preemptively flash when he knew they were going to flash to keep the tether active and get the fears and create a lot of kills just because he was really good at that champion.
And what do we expect from these guys? I mean, they had some pretty solid matches yesterday. I think it was the Epic Gaming, Team Tower Dive, like you said. I mean, Epic Gaming themselves were one of the teams that kind of the community thought would get through based off the names themselves.
Yeah, and Good Game University made short work of them, in all honesty.
Very
in their
short.
game where they were able to beat them down, that was the first game that we cast at. That was the first game of the group that
it was
they
on
played.
the extra stream, but it finished within 23 minutes or something.
It was a
like
very fast
very
game. They got Rumble going down. I mean, Good Game University, for you guys that don't know, is Team Dynamic, or at least a couple people that were on Team Dynamic, because that was an extremely young team. They've lost multiple members. The story to watch with them, really, is their support Pixel was 15. He was the one who was still on the team. He had to leave. 17 is the minimum age here. They picked up their new support, I Am Anjo. I apologize if you guys have heard this story before, but they were playing against him in ranked 5s. He beat up on Chu 8, the support they were trying, and Don't Mash Me, their AD carry, just said, you know, we should pick up that guy.
Well,
and now he's
here.
here.
Can we get hold of that guy that just beat us in lane?
Yeah, he played Nunu all 3 games
Actually,
yesterday.
to be fair, Don't Mash Me said, no, they didn't beat us in lane. He was quite quick to come back to that. He's just like,
they didn't beat us. They beat our other support. I mean, no one could beat Don't Mash Me in lane because, seriously. But aside from that.
They were very quick to get that across. But, yeah, I mean, they were very good. And then it's interesting. I mean, the whole story of Good Game University really is a whole lot of changes with the players. I guess similar to Fear, they had to have a couple of adjustments as well. Obviously, Afro Moon, Zuna's come in. Suddenly, there's a whole new personality born.
It's true.
And that's the great thing of Season 3. We're hoping to see a lot of these new personalities. Suddenly, Zuna's got a fan club on Reddit, and everybody's happy with him. I'm sure they're all tweeting to him, and I was just talking to him, and his people are like saying a river fight's not a river fight anymore when you listen to him. It's like a Normandy invasion, or Normandy landing on the beaches when you hear Zuna charging the team up there. And it's interesting story between those two that Zuna just said to me is like, I never really had a voice until Psycho Sid came on the team because he was so comfortable with Psycho Sid. But before, when they played at tournaments, he said, I was always just like, oh, okay, these guys are more experienced than me. I'm just going to sit quiet. But as soon as he got his friend on the team, that's it. They're all shouting. They're getting in there. And it seems to be working. I mean, that's a new team. That is a new Season 3 team. How cool is that?
Yeah,
We've got 4 teams now.
He says he actually intimidates the enemy team with how loud he yells. It's like they just get scared of me because, I mean, he's a big guy, too.
He's a
like,
big guy.
he could probably got the Superman sweater coming in there as well, so he'd be ready to go there.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, of course, let's take a quick look at how these two teams feel about playing each other.
Good Game University. This is a team we've played a lot, and we're able to watch them. We know what champions they play. We know how they play.
Dirtnap Gaming, besides Prawley, he's actually had some LAN experience there, all fresh to the LAN scene. We have a few veterans on our team, so we can kind of lead the confidence factor.
So they know a lot about us. We know a lot about them. But we have also changed a lot since they've played us.
I'm pretty confident we can 2-0 them.
We've had multiple conversations about what would be our ideal bans against us, but we can't really find any because we have too many things that people need to ban.
There's prepared confident and then there's ego confident. And this event, I'm pretty sure we're prepared confident.
There's not 3 champions that can play. It's not 5. It's 7, it's 8, it's 9, 10.
I think they're hiding something. I think they're scared.
He thinks they're scared and they're hiding something.
Ooh, big
Interesting
words.
talk.
Those
I mean,
fighting words.
We've talked about the fact these guys know each other. They've scrimmed so much together, and even during the groups before they even got through, I think it was GGU basically said, pretty sure Dirtnap Gaming are going to get through this group without a doubt because they've played each other so much and it actually lost to them a lot.
And no, wasn't it GGU who was beating up on Dirtnap Gaming consistently? That's the story I heard.
Dirtnap claimed they were winning all the scrims. Typical. I guess it depends what team you speak to on the
Those
scrims.
teams.
Yeah.
We beat them like 80% of the time. 160% total because they're both just winning all the time. It's
everybody wins the scrims.
Yeah, of course they do. Why would they not? No one is there to check the results. It's not streamed.
It's not covered. It's not streamed. And generally, it's not covered in replays either because they leave before.
Yeah, it's like I got a great house in Paris. Only can't go there now though. Sorry.
Just can't show you. Yeah, you guys at home. But so okay, what are we expecting realistically? We've seen these two teams for quite a while. Both of these teams have done the LAN circuit, so they have experience on LAN. Pretty much every team apart from MAN has had some experience on LAN. MAN are the only team that got through online.
Yeah.
So are they the only breakthrough team, I guess, from the ladders. So what are we thinking between these two? These guys, have they clashed again at previous tournaments? I'm thinking MLGs, IPLs, anywhere in America. I don't think either of them have gone to Europe.
Yeah, so a few of the players will have played each other. I know Prawley will have played Nintendo X and Zion Spartan when they were on Legion and Team Dynamic.
Right.
Appropriately. But other than that, I don't think there's been that much crossover. You saw in the interview there, or in the feed, Prawley gives the team confidence because he's the one with the experience. He's the most social one of the group as well. We interviewed him yesterday. I mean, we could tell that he speaks very well. And then, of course, Good Game University. Don't mash me, tons of confidence. This is Prophet here. He is the tactical caller for them. It's just going to be good stuff.
Yeah, Zion Spartan was very confident in the interviews as well there. It's probably on your screen as well. He did an interview as well. These guys are starting to get through it. This is the new part to these guys because I guess when they've been at previous events, the stars have been the TSMs, the CLGs, and they've kind of taken the limelight from them. They're not here because they were already qualified. These are the guys that are trying to get in and join them. They want to get that salary, and it's a big salary for these guys. I mean, these are all 17 years old upwards, and that's Dirtnap Gaming. You can tell by the random chicken hats they have on. I've no idea what that signifies, but it just looks stupid. I gotta be honest. It just maybe it's lost in me, the youth. I don't know what. Maybe I'm just getting too old for this thing. But we are into the picks and bans, ladies and gentlemen. Dirtnap Gaming with the blue side on your screen, and of course the red side is going to be Good Game University. Jack, what are we expecting? Ban straight away. Elise and Jace.
Jace, absolutely. Probably was so dominant on that Jace last 2 games. The only 2 games they played, picked it safe, picked it to win. They also played Graves twice, but that's not going to be a ban type thing. Mainly the Nintendo X ban for Elise. is kind of smart, even though the one game that Nintendo Dex played on, at least yesterday, he lost.
Oh, Zig's being banned out. We saw GGU using that. Shifter. Is it? What are we going with? Shifter? Shifter?
Shifter.
I hear it. Did whatever player you talk to, you seem to get a different name.
Yeah, well, I talked to Shifter himself, and unless he was lying to me.
He said Shifter.
Shifter.
Shifter. See, that makes sense to me. When I was talking yesterday, PH definitely means an F to me. Maybe it's just my English language. There's Evelyn being locked out of the game. A Carly ban. So we didn't see Zion Spartan running that yesterday.
We definitely didn't. They just must not like playing against the potential that... I mean, you're going to put him on something like Nidalee or Rumble. That's what he played yesterday. Nidalee, Rumble, and Katarina.
Oh, Nidalee. Yeah. You said Nidalee.
But actually, the only game that Katarina wasn't banned against Good Game University yesterday, they picked it early for Zion Spartan. Problem with that, though, is Dirtnap Gaming has first pick if they wanted to take that away. So there's a lot of mind games going on between these two teams.
So the final pick ban will be Kazakhs. Kind of expected. Some of these are regular, some of these are targeted. It does mean Shen's available. Do you think that'll be the first pick?
I don't know if Dirtnap Gaming plays it. JD Wu hasn't played much. He generally likes to play things like Lee Sin, Nocturne, Maokai, the really heavy gankers. Shen's more of that kind of sit back, farm, and use your ultimate to counter gank. I don't know if that fits his style, but Nintendo Dex would. Could be Chris top lane. He did that yesterday. He became a raid boss, if I believe.
He did.
Yeah, he had.
Was that Chris that was top raid boss? I remember.
That was Chris.
I definitely remember.
Because they did home guard boot Shen with a Maokai jungle.
Yes.
And he would come flying in.
Stan United
at about 5 million move speed and just get taunts. So if they want to go for it, they're really talking about this. They probably expected some slightly different bans. They might go for a Shen here.
It's definitely open to them. If this was OGN, they'd be like insta-lock straight in there.
No
OGN,
problem. He'd be banned.
He'd be banned instantly. I mean, there's everything available to them. They're going to think about Olaf. Olaf possibly going to get locked in there. They're having a discussion about it. It will be Olaf locked in.
Olaf has been locked in. Need to get back to the pick ban screen. Of course, Katarina and Shen got locked in immediately for Good Game University. So that's going to be Nintendo Dex and most likely Zion Spartan on those two champions.
So Katarina, well, I mean, that could be top lane Katarina. Shen being locked in, it could be jungle Shen. What are we thinking from these?
I'm thinking jungle Shen. That's what they did yesterday when they pulled that off. It was Katarina top, jungle Shen, and as soon as Katarina wanted to start roaming around, they pulled in Shen and just threw him top lane, and they really gave themselves an extra carry.
So, just having that drop out of there. They're discussing something. They're sorting something out. And one of the teams had a mouse issue, so they're going to redo champion select. It'd be a bit tricky if it was the guy doing the selecting. That would probably why they were delayed. They weren't debating it. They were just going, I can't select it. I can't do it.
The Olaf pick made enough sense, though. I feel like
if that was random,
it must have been someone else.
I mean, if you think back, there was one random pick in Cologne, and it was Wicked got Rumble.
It's pretty good at Rumble.
He's okay on Rumble. He kind of got destroyed on Rumble, though, but yeah, I mean, that was his random pick, but they were just like, whatever.
There was actually a really funny moment at one of the MLGs during a listen-in with Team Dignitas because they decided on what they want.
There's been a few funny moments with listening,
trust
me.
Pick-related funny moment with that, and I believe it was, I want to say Crumbs was having to pick a champion, and they called out the champion they wanted too late. They were like, give me Shen top. And he couldn't click it in time, and they ran him Vayne. And they had to go in with it because that's the official pick. But they had it on the listen-in, so you heard the panic and Skara just being Skara.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But
they recovered probably. Did they win it?
They lost that game.
They lost
that was
game.
against Team Dynamic, funnily enough.
Oh, okay.
So cursed
GGU.
with champ select issues.
Cursed the champ select issues. I know Skara is watching as well right now. He's been tweeting away all morning, as you guys can do as well, at LOL Esports and, of course, hashtag LCS. We'll be able to check out all those tweets. I've got it all open. I've got my tweet deck open. I keep checking, see how the things are going. There's a lot of pro players out there, and, of course, why not? Because these guys are going to be facing these teams. 4 teams today will go through. We've had one already. That's going to be Team Fear. Who will go through from this one? Who knows? We're going to have Marn versus the Brunch Club. The brothers facing off against each other, Nick Wu and Claky D. And it was interesting to see Claky D yesterday, if you guys didn't catch it, towards the end of the day. And he was basically saying, you know, both of them, they were genuinely excited about it. Because, like, one of us is going to be in Season 3.
That was
It
really
wasn't a case of, like, cutthroat. It's like, I'm going to beat my brother.
Yeah, because, I mean, we saw the earlier feature between Mandatory Cloud and Arthalon, how they've been friends since high school.
Yeah.
And he was saying how it was a bad situation that one of them was going to make it and one of them might not. Completely different mindset from Claky D and
Probably because they're thinking if one of us doesn't make it, you can be a sub.
You can be a sub on my team. We're both in.
Yeah, success. But ladies and gentlemen, the championship select is just about to begin once again.
Yeah, we're back in.
We are back in there, and he was an Olaf first pick. So Olaf was a justified first pick. He didn't just manage to get that random, and there we go. So could that be Zion Spartan at the top, or will it be Shifter? Katarina.
I feel like it's Zion Spartan top. The possibility exists for them to do that, but the fact that they played this in their really elimination, go home or move on game against Tower Dive TV, that exact combination, Zion Spartan top on Katarina and Nintendo Dex jungle, I feel like they're sticking with that again.
So Nocturne being selected. We've seen Nocturne starting to creep back into it as today. We've seen him in the last few late games yesterday as well.
Those 4 picks, exact same 4 picks for Good Game University they had against Tower Dive TV. Their last pick would be Twitch if they were to stick solid with those.
And actually, it was Don't Match Me that got a pentakill. I'm pretty sure it was him.
I don't know. The 2 pentakills were in Group D yesterday.
They were in Group D.
Yeah, one of them was by Demon Law.
Yeah, one was against eHomda's team.
And the other one
against Salad Bar. Yeah. You are correct. You are correct. I mean, why would I ever question the Wikipedia sat next to me? We do see a Kassadin, though, Jack.
That is something else because Prawley had been playing so much AD's mid. You see him in solo queue, he'd be playing Jarvan. We saw him yesterday, he'd be playing Jace. Something completely different now with Kassadin. Graves by Echo, something he played both games yesterday. Now 3 for 3, and they don't go with the Twitch on GGU's side. They go with Vayne instead.
They have to switch it up slightly, but how do you balance these 2 teams out?
This is going to be tons of global pressure early for GGU, hoping the Don't Mash Me gets fed. That's really all it's going to be. Zion Spartan going to try to roam a lot, and Nintendo Dex going to split push top. You look across the board for Dirtnap Gaming, the ganks from JD Wu into Prawley's lane, that's what it's going to be all about. Yesterday, Azure Gaming ran the same combination. They got up to 6-0 and 7-0 kill leads when they did this stuff. Nothing can live through a Kassadin Nocturne gank mid. They're going to try to get Prawley fed. He is the vocal leader of their team. He's the personality. He's what gives them confidence. It's going to be all about getting him fed with Nocturne.
It is going to be an incredible game, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is going to be a very aggressive game as well. I expect to see a lot of kills in this game. I mean, you mentioned the Nocturne, but of course Shen could come in, Stan United, there could be everything. Could be a full-on stack team fight, or with the Globals of Karthus. Everything could happen, ladies and gentlemen. If you are not watching, well, tell everyone else that isn't watching. I was about to say if you're not watching,
tweet
you should be, but if you're not watching, you're not going to hear me.
Hashtag LCS.
Hashtag LCS, of course, at LOL Esports, and everybody else that follows you on Twitter. Make sure they know that the North American Season 3 qualifiers are underway. We already have one team, Team Fear. They are in. Who will be joining them? Will it be Good Game University, or will it be Dirtnap Gaming? We are going to find out any moment as the game loads up. Jat, who are you thinking?
I'm thinking this is going to be a very, very close game because we have the #1 seed from what was considered the weak group and the #2 seed from what was considered the strong group yesterday. I honestly don't know what to call. They know themselves so well, and you can tell from the teams that scrim each other all the time. Every time they play each other, it pretty much goes the max amount of games. Azubu Blaze and Azubu Frost are the prime example of that. Every time they meet, they go 5 games, best of 5. I'm expecting something similar here.
Well, let's see how they do. They know each other, like you say, very, very well. The blue team on your screens with the random chicken hats on is Dirtnap Gaming, and the red team is Good Game University, formerly Team Dynamic. If you are unaware of the changes that happen in esports, keep yourselves up to date. We will try and keep you up to date as well. Wards being placed out, Chad. Doesn't look like it's going to be a level 1 fight. Looks like it's going to be a standoff again.
These are very defensive formations by them, but actually not a huge amount of wards placed quite yet. 3 wards by GGU and 2 wards by DNG.
Apparently the random chicken hats is the synergy between the jungler and the AD carry. I'm not so sure about that. That's just, I think they're just wearing stupid hats.
And I heard it was, yeah, that's not even true because it's the synergy between Prawley and their jungler. That's where all the ganks come in. They just want an excuse to wear hats.
They just want an excuse to wear hats, but they've done it, I don't know.
It's consistent, actually. He did an interview in that hat.
There is one. There is one hat.
Yeah, there's JD Wu.
That's not Prawley.
No, that's definitely not Prawley.
Definitely not Prawley, so it must be the ADC and jungler.
It's got to be. And you can see a lot of times how teams sit. It's very interesting. Usually the person who calls a lot of the tactics is in the middle. But Prophet is the tactical caller in picks and bans. He's farthest right on the desk. He is the support player. The AD carries right next to him. That's very common when you sit. Prawley makes a lot of the mid-game calls, and he's in the mid lane. A lot of times Reginald would sit mid for TSM. Then aside from that, you see jungler right beside him because that's where he ganks the most frequently. And then top lane because they're always off on their own. They're on their island.
And
They
that's
usually
it.
sit on the
You
end.
always think you see Dyrus on the end of the line,
Usually.
etc. You'll always see the top lane on the center. It's a standard line out. Apart from Dignitas. Dignitas always switch it around. Did they do that when you were there?
Dignitas is annoying.
They
switch
will
around.
switch it around all
They
over the
give
place.
away their strategies though because they
It's like, where are they
sit
going to sit today?
in
Oh,
relation
they're
to
doing that.
lanes. Seriously, they sit in relation to lanes. If Scar plans to bottom, like he plans to play bottom and they want their 80 carry
sit
support,
on the
they're
right
like,
of the-
hold on, we all have to move around now. It's like,
so there's
well,
things to look forward to in Season 3, ladies and gentlemen. If you see the camera angle come in and Scar is on the end, you know what's coming.
you're like, he's going bot.
He's going bot.
all
Everybody
over.
knows there's a tell. It's a pretty evil, obvious tell. Scar's going to be watching this thinking, damn it, they're on to me.
Giving away our secrets, we can't do that anymore.
Season 3 secrets given away already before the season even starts. So, we are back underway, ladies and gentlemen. The pause has been cleared. And we do see pings coming out. And actually, Dirtnam Gaming is starting to gather in the mid. We're going to see a late invade.
We may just... There's so many wards, though, I don't see this happening. Zion Spartan couldn't quite... He tried to get in an auto attack reset from his Shunpo to hit it 3 times, but he couldn't quite get there.
And he does manage to eat a couple of glitter lances. And basic attacks from Prophet. The axe being picked up by Chris, so no surprise, really. It'd be interesting to see when the lanes do start to level themselves out. We'll take a look at that in a moment. We are at 1 minute 40, so it doesn't look like there's going to be any late invades for either teams. It does look like, though, there's been a bit of a change around in the lanes.
Got Vayne and Nunu sitting up top, already taking double golems. Going to try to shut down Chris's Olaf in the top lane, but that's a little bit curious because we know how good of a duo laner like Olaf is. People pick Olaf specifically a lot of times to do lane swaps, but they're going straight into it. They're going to allow Zion Spartan to just have to deal with a Lulu Graves 1v2 lane, which is a tall task. However, we actually see Don't Mash Me and I Manjo running in, maybe trying to put some harassment on blue buff or ward it. Nah, they back away.
Yeah, and Chris had that ward there, so he was well prepared to help out his jungler if needed. Of course, they realized that Nocturne was going to start on the red buff. He's now moved up to the blue, keeping an eye on the opposition jungler as well. Nintendo Dex moving up slowly towards it, but the red buff is warded. So do you think we're going to see anything here from maybe JD to head off as soon as he gets it?
If he could get there really fast, he's probably going to end up smiting this blue buff though, so he's not going to have the ability to go over and steal Nintendo Dex's red. The main knowledge that buff is going to provide though is just going to let everyone know, especially this bot lane of Echo and Prophet, that Shen is nowhere near and they can continue to push like this.
So they keep the pressure on down the bottom lane and take us through it. There's Nintendo Dex. He's going to pick up that buff. There he does. He smites it away as well. Let's go through the lanes from top to bottom, shall we? Olaf to start with. Chris versus Nunu and Vayne in the top.
So this is a big lane for Don't Mash Me to get farmed on Vayne. Nothing's going to stop him from getting last hits. Once he gets fed with the Nunu, the Blood Boil will be huge for him. I don't think they have a huge amount of kill potential. They don't have a huge amount of shove potential. Nunu being a melee support doesn't really allow them to get tower damage. But it's a farm lane for Vayne.
So Don't Mash Me, you can see immediately trying to put as much damage as he can on Chris, but Chris quite happy to set that one out. Back in towards the middle, it is Karthus versus Kassadin. This is a battle we used to see way back in Season 1.
And it's a constant debate what wins against this. Some people say Kassadin's a hard counter to Karthus. Other people say Kassadin can't survive until 6. So Karthus does have the edge before 6. He's got the huge range with farming. He's going to keep Prawley back to his turret at all moments. But once Prawley hits level 6, he can blink right on top of Karthus and really just destroy him with mobility. Going to be very interesting to watch that. Kassadin seeing a resurgence in Season 3 with that Crystalline Flask, able to sustain the early weak laning phase of Kassadin.
And one of the classic moments for that, to me, is Alex Each versus Froggen and DreamHack Summer. It was a Kassadin Karthus lane. In that moment, Karthus won out. We'll see how that works out. Froggen was the winner there. This bottom lane, though, Lulu Graves really going to be poking a heck of a lot on Nintendo Dex, who's having to come down and help already.
And you can see this lane is about tower pushing. They almost have it right here. Nintendo Dex trying to go down, making him fall back.
And Zion Spartan manages to get on towards Prophet, the Ignite on Prophet, and Nintendo Dex just not close enough and really just forcing him away, trying to hold out in this turret as long as they can.
It's not going to be much longer unless Nintendo Dex decides to live in this lane. That's why it's kind of dangerous to 1v2 against a Lulu and Graves. That's really the ultimate shove lane that's going to take your turret as soon as possible, and it seems like they're well on pace to do so.
We've seen JD Wu join in the top lane as well. He's starting to put pressure down. Chris is backing, but hasn't gone completely yet. He might get caught just before he goes away. No, finally does go back. So just push that lane out a little bit so he can go back and buy. And
we take another look bottom. Nintendo really making sure he shoves out for Zion Spartan. they don't want to lose that turret that early to DirtNap Gaming. That would really allow Lulu and Graves to start shoving around, especially because that means the 1v2 laning phase is over for Vayne, who they want to get as much farm as possible.
So they're trying to keep him down there as long as possible. Like you mentioned, that looking across the items and everybody really going for those crystalline flasks right now.
This is the most crystalline flasks I've actually seen a team start the game with. There's 4 of them on DirtNap Gaming. Only person who didn't get one was Nocturne, and he could have if he went utility spec on Nocturne, but that's a bit of a gimmick. You look across the board and there's only 1 on Good Game University, so right at the start of the laning phase, DirtNap Gaming put ever so slight of a disadvantage on themselves investing in those flasks, but they're not really down in gold here, only 200. It might pay off for them later in the game.
Yeah, and how do you see the balance between those currently?
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
Chris going in towards Don't Match Me. He does manage to catch the axe. He's had to cleanse it off.
One more
Is it going to
shot.
be enough? One more shot. Misses the axe, so dodges out of it. Oh, he can't quite get close enough. Didn't have the mana to do the... Oh, he lacked on the mana. He managed to try and get the Q and still didn't have the range. JD Wu was coming. It was just too late.
Really, though, a lot of aggression by Chris, showing you why Olaf is such a great 1v2 laner. I mean, 25 minion kills, and 25 minion kills to Katarina as well. She was able to farm with her turret, but it ended up falling.
Ended up falling. There is the first turret of the game. DirtNap Gaming picking that up, obviously taking the gold advantage alongside it. But what I was about to bring your attention to was the difference between, we've seen a lot of the tops actually stacking out the 9 health pots compared to a crystalline flask.
And those are mainly on top laners who have no mana involved in their play, because they feel it's inefficient to keep stacking up the 40 mana every time you consume a flask, so they just go for the huge amount of health potions. Olaf, actually needing a fair amount of mana if he's looking to farm with maxed axes, wants the flask and a bunch of health potions on top of that, so it's a smarter move for Chris to get that item.
So as we see, the change has come in. Prophet and Echo head towards the top there with Graves and Lulu, and they're going to come up against I Am Anju and Don't Match Me. So the trade-off has kind of backfired for GGU.
It seems like it, at least in the interim, unless they can turn this into some kind of kills or some kind of tower pushes, that was pretty bad because their turret's down, they only got a third of the enemy top turret, and now they're stuck in a 2v2 against Lulu and Graves, who I think, if DirtNap Gaming plays it right, they should be able to punish Don't Match Me a little bit.
And we'll see whether they do. They're very even in gold, as it is. Shifter's coming across. He's going to pick himself up the blue. You can see the gold count there on your screens. 2,200 to just 200 gold advantage for currently Don't Match Me on this top lane. That's probably down to the fact that he's just come in and cleaned out a couple of waves on the top there. Meanwhile, the bottom lane is very much even as well. They've managed to break even across the board. The mid lane, just 200 gold, slight advantage to Prolly currently.
I gotta say, Prolly's winning that mid lane. He's up 51 to 49 on Karthus, and he just hit his sweet spot. He can do that every time he wants, especially once he's going to get that blue buff that JD Wu's going to give him shortly in the jungle, and continue to force Shifter back over and over again.
It's going to get very annoying for him, I feel. We'll see how that works out. And Shifter immediately is responding to this. He's just backing straight up to his turret. So let's have a look towards the top turret. You can see they're actually starting to push there. We do see Prolly heading up that way. Nintendo, though, on the red buff, could come around and try and steal it away. Wow. He wards it and goes, whoa, what do you know?
There's a Shen there.
Yeah, no, what do you know? There's a Shen there. I think, has he backed into it? I'm not sure if there's vision, whether he can quite see it. He must have been able to. Oh, because the blue buff calls come out from JD Wu.
Right. He wanted to be able to pick up his own blue. Shen is quite tanky just almost innately because of the spammability of Feint. So he didn't want to mess with Nintendo decks in the jungle. He knew there were an 80 carry and a Nunu that would come down if he decided to harass Nintendo decks. It got them good vision and knowledge, but he still had to get back there for the blue.
Yeah, and Echo's going to be well aware of the fact that Shen is there. Now they're going to come in. They're going to be a little bit close. There's a lot of damage. That's the ultimate from Don't Match Me. He's going to try and go for this one. He's going to have to switch into Prophet, but immediately got away from it. Flash was burned.
And that was a little surprising that they decided to get up so far. They're really trying to just outshove Don't Match Me and I Am Anju in this lane because Nunu and Vayne do not push well. So Echo and Prophet consider if they just shove the lane back, they're going to be able to get more farm than Vayne.
Yeah, Zion Spartan going for Chris there. Chris actually stopped, and I think he started to dance then. I'm almost certain that was he definitely stopped to do something because he was like, yep, this ulti is doing nothing to me. I'm perfectly safe.
Zion Spartan, though, even with that ulti not doing that much to Chris, really getting a bit of a lead in that lane. 66 to 46 between Katarina and Olaf, meaning that Chris not doing that well now they swap back to the 1v2, which makes me question why they would have done the lane swap in the first place.
Because it seems to be backfiring. Prolly, he's about to walk straight through a Tribush ward, and you can see immediately the pings go down. Don't Match Me has completely backed away with I Am Anju, and they've stepped well away from that turret, and they're going to have to just reset. So, Jan, is there anything you're going to see coming from this one, apart from the fact that we could see a gank down the bottom?
The biggest thing that's happening right now is Nintendo X is trying to counter gank, and there could be a Shao coming in here.
And there's JD Wu. That's going to be Stan United coming in on towards Zion Spine. Is it going to be enough? Chris is going to get caught out. That's going to be the Cartons also, and the Requiem does go down. First Blood turns it into a second. Double kill for Nintendo X.
Counter gank. He decided he was just waiting around, biding his time as Imanjo gets away with 20 health.
20 health, and he does get away. Dirtnap Gaming still don't pick themselves up a kill.
But Dirtnap Gaming should be able to continue this shove. Don't Mash Me can't hold that lane alone. And since Nintendo X went bottom for that double kill, we could see their second turret take up the game here.
Yeah, we may see Prolly heading up there as well. I can see him starting to make his way north. Could well just take away the Wraiths instead, but regardless, Don't Mash Me has immediately responded and he's getting the hell out of there. That's just good map positioning.
It was the smart move. There's no way he could get that. There was an MIA call for sure when Prolly left mid. Shifter said, Kassadin's not even close. He's definitely coming top. But once he comes mid, he makes Shifter's life a pain.
Comes straight back in, gets that burst combo on him. And that is the second turret of the game going down. So Dirtnap Gaming, despite they haven't got 2 kills, they've got 2 turrets.
The big thing they do have to look out for, though, is the last time we saw Nintendo X on Shen, it's him turning into a carry. Like, he really becomes a top lane power Shen after a little bit. With the double kill, he's actually got top gold on his team pretty much. You look at everyone there, 3,100 and 3,200 gold on pretty much every member of GGU. Trying to solo Dragon for a little bit, but JD Wu's not having it.
JD Wu just comes drifting around and says, what are you doing? Seriously? We do see the Hex Drinker on Chris, though, so he's really trying to target against Zion Spartan. He's ready for this 1v1 fight, expecting it to last a long time. Nintendo X does come around. Meanwhile, you can see Dirtnap Gaming on the Dragon there, stood on top of a pink ward. I expect the rest of the team to react here.
The thing is, they have Nunu and Vayne up top with no way of getting down, and 5 members of Dirtnap Gaming. Despite the pink wards, there's no way they wanted to deal with that, so all the objectives coming out from Dirtnap Gaming early.
So the question is, can they react? Can they get back up towards the top here? Echo, you can see, heading straight up there. The turret is pretty healthy, but I don't think they're going to close the gap, so they've basically given up that tower for the Dragon.
And Don't Mash Me actually popped his ultimate on top of the Blood Boil to get the increased attack damage to make sure they got that turret down faster. They thought Dirtnap Gaming was going to be rushing up there to finish it. Either way, though, it's only a 60-second cooldown on Vayne ult, so he'll probably have it back for the next fight. Now, Prolly's team pushing mid as well.
Instead, they stick around, and Echo's reaction time is there, just to dash away the moment Nintendo X came in with the taunt. Great stuff, and that's really the top players that can do that.
It's his comfort level on Graves as well. This is the 3rd game in a row this tournament. All 3 games, really, that he's been playing Graves. He's had a lot of success with him thus far. And interestingly enough, both of the AD carries actually rushing the Bloodthirster, so will we see a static shift next? Not really sure, but they're very close in power right now.
Are we going to see a Warmogs or a Sunfire Cape straight out from Nintendo X? Warmogs has kind of been the flavor of the month, I guess, from this tournament.
It seems like it. Even in the OGN League, there's a couple people that build 5 or 6 Warmogs armor. I think they're overrating it a little bit, but it's still an incredibly potent tank item, especially the fact it's just the most safe resistance you can buy, in a sense. You're building armor, magic resist, you're still going to be vulnerable to someone, but if you build health, you're building dual resistance. It's not resistance, it's a survivabilities, I suppose. There is a better word from that.
There is a better word, but it doesn't matter, and we do find that, of course, Zion Spartan has gone. Haunted Guy, Sorcerer's Boots, kind of complete that one. He's quite happy there. Meanwhile, Rod of Ages, of course, on Karthus, the Bloodthirster for both AD carriers here. Nobody really going towards the Infinity Edge yet.
You're absolutely right. They do not like that. I mean, the thing that's happened so much with at least people who can't shove is they'll go the Static Shiv. So I'm expecting a Static Shiv coming out next from Don't Mash Me, if anything. And really, we need to keep track of Dirtnap Gaming and whether they can continue to push and assault these turrets. Because if they can get 3 turrets down, especially this mid one, it's really going to allow Prolly to put his presence on the rest of the map with that Kassadin.
You can see GGU have had to switch around. This is what they were aiming at. This is why they wanted that top turret down. They condemn Chris on towards the turret. He's just going to keep clearing that wave, but that turret is not going to last much longer. And we do see the switch around. We have got 3 members of GGU heading in towards the middle, probably picking up the blue buff there. Actually, did he mess up the blue? I couldn't quite see it under the skirt. Yes, it is. There it is, the blue buff under there.
Got it.
Very tricky to spot, but he has managed to get it in there. Blue buff also going to be given across the shifter. Is that going to open up enough of a gap for Echo to get on towards that turret? He is doing damage on it right now across the side there. There's not much left of it, but he's going to have to be pushed back again.
They're really trying hard to shove this, but you can actually see Shifter and Nintendo coming in a bit from the side. They might look to fight here. There's a wall.
They're going to get on towards Prophet. Prophet is going to get dropped. He has to use his ultimate, but he's going to pop them up. There's no damage coming back, though, and he was just simply caught out with a taunt.
Too much pressure and a good counterplay by Good Game University. They are doing a really good job making sure their key fighters get the farm. In our last set, when we saw that close game between Fear, they were just waiting for Kog'Maw and Karthus to get farmed. It's a very similar thing here where Good Game University is really just looking for Don't Mash Me and Karthus to get farmed as well.
Echo getting taunted out. Meanwhile, down the bottom lane, you can see they're going towards Chris. Chris was actually just dancing off at the side there as Don't Mash Me took the turret down. He was quite happy. Kind of knew it was going to go down. There's nothing really he could do about it. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, they just keep on pushing. Probably having a little poke back and forward. They can't quite get onto that. GGU realize how important that middle turret is. It takes a great big of a part of vision away, and now we're all square 2-2 in turrets.
Great comeback in a sense. I thought maybe the early pressure from the Lulu and Graves was going to snowball over. They made sure that it didn't. They kept farming up. They got some counter kills. I'd say the double kill that Nintendo X picked up spent a huge amount of time towards getting it back. And then they were just persistent. Don't Mash Me and Imanjo just stayed in lanes, waited until windows when Echo and Prophet went to push mid. They took both the side turrets.
We see Don't Mash Me picking up the red buff. Shifter coming back in to try and defend out this turret. There's a large group from DNG here, all to try and push once again. They have a siege minion. They might be able to get on towards the turret this time.
Will they? But the Karthus wall is just so difficult to push against, and they're fearful that the ganks would collapse in from the sides and Nintendo could go for anything, probably trying to get damage down. I'm really surprised we haven't seen a single gank from JD Wu in all of these 16 minutes. He's had his ultimate for quite some time, but everyone on GGU really just staying in safe positions.
Yeah, they had to back off there. You can see Don't Mash Me got caught out a little bit too deep, and the rest of the team, they're going to start chasing him. Probably might catch him across the side there. Oh, I'm not too sure who would have won that one, but he did go looking for it. But Don't Mash Me had managed to get a lot of health up. They are going to continue pushing it towards this mid turret. Going to get a chunk of damage done on towards the inner. I don't think Good Game University is certainly going to let this one give up. You can see that Shifter is coming back now. They're going to go for it. They're going to get the taunt across. Can it be enough though? You can see Nintendo Dex doing the damage. He's going to start backing out. Shifter finally gets himself in there. The Defile is running. He's going to get some layways down. Of course, he has got Requiem to finish them off here. Prophet taking down low, very low. Prolly comes in. Couldn't get it. He got the Ignite down, but it wasn't enough. We do see one. Don't Mash Me gets the kill. Prolly picked up another. And there's going to be the Karthus ultimate. Requiem should get another. There's one. There's two. Zion Spartan comes in on towards Chris. Chris might have enough to finish him off here. He's got the mana for it. Oh, and he flashes. He failed flash, but he wasn't aware where he went. And Chris pulls him back, baits him back out. And well, Zion Spartan should not have gone chasing for that.
Surprisingly, they pull out a 3 for 2 and all that. I thought it was going to be much worse for Dirtnap Gaming. They kind of went all in. Imanjo escaped early on in that fight with a very small amount of health, and then the assault just kept coming. The Defiled Karthus is one of the scariest things you can see when you're a team of squishies. JD Wu not able to pull off really any successful ultimates, cannot go in through a Karthus because Prolly's not really able to follow with him that well. It's looking pretty good for GGU, even though they messed up the tail end of that fight a little bit.
Don't Mash Me continues his farming spree at the top here. Starting to gain a little bit over Echo right now. Just a 10 CS difference, but he's going to start stacking up. Both identical builds so far. The Berserker Greaves still not quite built, and I wonder if Don't Mash Me had those Berserker Greaves in that fight, whether he'd have been able to catch and chase someone down.
Might have helped him a little bit. Vayne already gets so much move speed from the Blood Boil, and from the fact that Vayne gets extra move speed while chasing that he probably didn't think he needed them. Getting those early Phantom Dancer I think is going to give him more damage in the long run. I think he's alright with that decision.
Happy with that. Now we do see the Dragon being picked up by Dirtnap Gaming. That is the one of the game I feel. The goal is still very close, and Nintendo Dex getting caught out. The burst from Prolly isn't going to be enough. Chris tries to come in. Chris now exposed. The rest of his team has split away. Chris is going to have to take a lot of the damage. He is pretty tanky though, so he's not too worried about that one just now. But he has managed to have to pop the Ragnarok. So Ragnarok was in use, and as it stands, they're going to continue sieging this turret.
It's going to be tricky. They were in this situation just a second ago. The flash taunt came in from Nintendo. Probably getting a huge amount of poke down. Just doesn't... I feel like it might not be enough, though. They can't really safely get on this without someone getting hit by a snowball. The Karthus wall has such a huge initiation range. But with Shifter being back a bit, they could get this turret down. They're really scared, though. You can see it in them.
He's keeping the silence down on Nintendo Dex as well. And he's just making sure that he keeps not able to put that taunt across the entire team like he did. The first initiation that he managed to pull off in the last fight is when he went diving straight across with that taunt.
I want to see if they can complete some of the big items, though, because the gap exists for Don't Mash Me and Echo. The Phantom Dancer versus just the Zeal. JD Wu needs to complete an Aegis of the Legion at some point. You can see that's what he's going towards, but he's still a fair bit away. Chris needs to get a Frozen Heart. They're just not quite at the aura items they need to be. That is Dirtnap Gaming, and you see it when they team fight. Karthus is too scary. They don't really have the power to fight back with him right now.
Well, Good Game University, they were coming in. They wanted to try and invade for that blue, but probably had just taken it away and back to base. So they pushed in. They fought for the wards. They put 3 wards down to try and get in and get that blue, but it was not there, and it had already gone. So GGU have to reset themselves, figure out what they're going to do, pick up their own blue, of course, and go back and buy. What are we going to start to see here with the items?
So Death Cap is going to be hopefully soon for Prawley, unless he goes for a Deathfire Grasp. Either one of them would actually be a fairly good call. Look across at his AP mid counterpart. Shifters has that Rod of Ages now. It's reached its 10-minute full stack cap, so he's sitting quite pretty. He's going to be looking for a Death Cap as well, but he's much farther ways away. Surprisingly, this isn't the super farm Karthus we're kind of used to seeing. He's 165 minion kills at 21 minutes, which is about 100 behind the regular Karthus you'd see. Normally, in Season 2, Karthus would be taking Wraiths, Wolves,
23
everything.
minutes Froggen.
23 minutes, 300 CS is the record, and here we're 21 minutes, 165, so it's not even close. That's not as scary of a Karthus as we've seen in the past, but tell that to DNG as Shifter destroyed them in the last team fight.
He did indeed. That Defile is still a scary thing, and then you know that the Requiem will follow it up as well. Once you think you've all got away, you think you've escaped, and then out comes those big red beams of light above your head, and you are doomed. As it is, Good Game University back off and not able to push or pressure on towards that mid lane, and is this going to become a problem here? But I just feel that late game, Vayne, Nunu, that's a scary, scary beast, along with the Karthus to back it up.
And this reminds me of the first game we saw today, when Karthus and Kog'Maw got going for Fear. The same thing seems to be happening again, except this time they have Zion Spartan to clean up, and they have the split push capability of Nintendo X's Shen to get it there. Just another tool they have. You can see Dirtnap Gaming's really trying to force it. They've been pushing up mid for about the last 10 minutes. They've only gotten the 1 mid tower and about 2/5 of the damage on the next turret, so not going the best for Dirtnap Gaming. They'd have to find a way to initiate in on them, but it's almost like GGU is just a giant immovable object with the way they can't get pushed in for.
Well, here's the turret. It's going down. Dirtnap Gaming going to fight for it. They're sort of half-heartedly trying to go for this one. Chris has eaten too much damage already, and he's going to have to go back to base. I just feel with the next creep wave that Good Game University should take this turret.
Seems like Chris going back to base. No one really low on Good Game University. No buffs really to be taken. Dragons not up for another minute, 50 seconds. They're absolutely right about this one. I feel like they're going in on this wave.
Here we go. The wave comes in. They're just going to follow it through. And there you can see blood boiled up Vayne with the Phantom Dancer just poking it down. And there weren't anyone from Dirtnap Gaming who wanted to get a piece of that ball. But Paranoia comes out from JD Wu, goes very deep. Probably also follows it up. There's the Capitalist Clism. Tries to catch on towards him. Anjo comes out. Requiem's going to hit. Chris is going to be safe here. Echo gets taunted out. Echo flashes away. Prophet's just off at the side, and he's baiting the whole team in. Prophet will get popped, but the rest of the team's going to come in. The ultimate gets reset by Probably. He tries to get in there, tries to burst down Don't Match Me. Echo follows it up. Don't Match Me turns around. He takes down Probably, but now Don't Match Me is going to escape here. Chris does manage to get the kill on Nintendo Dex, and Anju picks up his AD carry and walks away with him.
So a 3-for-2 on the other side now. We've seen matching fights by both teams. They got the turret, but it's probably going to cost them a turret as well. So close Prawley was to finishing off absolutely everyone in that fight. That was one of the closest, just, I'd say, least amount of total health left on teams, considering 5 people are alive, that I've seen in quite a long time. And that was a good sign for Dirtnap Gaming. That's the first time JD Wu really just decided to go in and see what happened. It looked like he was ahead of everyone else, but it still worked out for them. Hopefully they can pull off a few more Kassadin plus Nocturne combos. Now that Prawley completed that death cap, it might be a little more effective. They have to keep doing that so they don't get bullied around.
Well, we do see a couple more tanky items coming out across the board, and a couple more damaging items as well. Static Shift being picked up by Echo, sorry. Don't Mash Me, meanwhile, he's gone back, got himself another pick, so he's going to be heading towards that last Whisper, and of course, we see the Giant's Belt starting to come out across the board.
A lot of Sunfire Capes going to be completed, or Warmog's Armors. I'm really waiting for Nintendo Dex to get that Sunfire Cape. That's when he's really going to try to kick his split pushing into the next gear. It's going to be on Chris at that point to try to duel Nintendo Dex. He should be able to, as a top laner, with about 2,000 more gold than Nintendo Dex, so hopefully he'll be able to pull that off. Now, though, it is the Dragon that is up. JD Wu's ultimate still has 25 seconds off before we could see Nocturne's Paranoia there. They're going for the Dragon. If GGU decides to come in, Dirtnap Gaming wants to fight him.
Dirtnap Gaming are in a static position, which would be ideal for Zion Spartan. As it is, the fights have been very mobile, very back and forward. Zion Spartan really hasn't been able to get himself in a nice position to get that ulti rolling.
Katarina really hasn't been able to snowball any of these. It's been all about Shifter and Don't Mash Me chasing them down and kind of picking up the kills. Zion Spartan's getting shut down. Prophet's doing a really good job of making sure he can't get ultimates off, throwing that Lulu Polymorph in at the right times. But now, unfortunately, Echo's stuck top clearing a wave while all 5 members of GGU are pushing bottom. This could be trouble.
They're just going to pile straight in there. You can see the Blood Boil on Don't Mash Me. He's just going to hammer down bolts after bolts onto that turret, and he's going to get dropped. Echo now backing off, but that was great positioning by Good Game University. They pick up the Dragon, just move on round and say, well, you know what? Echo's just showed himself at the top. We could just go straight in and take it.
That's the price that Dirtnap Gaming paid for getting the Dragon. They realized that creep wave was approaching in the top lane. They knew they were going to have to send someone to clear that. Dragon in a tower, barely even in gold, but you lose the positioning of the tower. It was a trade-off they were willing to make because Echo got probably a kill's worth of gold from clearing that top wave. It's really just a trade-off both teams opted into.
The Shifter picks up.
Oh, did he steal it?
Bloop. Oh, he did. He got him to come in. JD Wu comes around. Now he's managed to capture draw Sifter. The rest of the team, Echo's coming in there. Paranoia's going to go off, but he's already used the Fear Leash, and the collateral damage is nowhere near enough to do anything. So, but Dirtnap Gaming did manage to come in and get that steal. Clever play from Dirtnap Gaming. Could they respond and take this bottom turret?
They're just trading back and forth objectives. They get the blue. That's going to be huge. And because Karthus is low on health and mana, that's a free turret of their own. 4 turrets to 4 now.
Just straight back and forth action. 4 turrets to 4. The gold still just 1,000 difference between them. 8 to 5 in terms of kills. GGU heading that one off. Probably though trying to get pinned down. There's another turret. Dirtnap Gaming, of course, they'd been working so hard, so tirelessly on that mid one. They'd had 4 fights back and forth for that mid turret. They finally got it.
The 15-minute quest was finally completed. Take down second tier mid turret. Let's see if it was worth it, because they spent so much time on that. The fact that they finally got it should mean something. They should be able to capitalize off this in some way, shape, or form. Prawley's now going to get the blue buff for himself. They have that mismatch. Knowing Shifter doesn't have the blue buff from Karthus, they could try some extended sieges. There's 1 outer turret left for GGU, and that's in the top lane. Maybe Dirtnap Gaming is going to try to go for that one next, because they're all about pushing, it seems.
Someone somewhere will be saying, right, please, we need an achievement unlocked for that. And as it stands, Dirtnap Gaming are starting to build up ahead of steam. They have the gold advantage. We do see the pink ward starting to be cleared out. I Am Anjo has picked himself up an Oracle here. He's kept himself well out of it. 2 wards getting placed out there. Are they thinking of the Baron here?
They're thinking of finding a window to engage. I don't think they think they're far enough ahead to get something, but there's the Oracles. Prawley getting caught!
Prawley gets caught out and he gets taunted straight away, taken straight down by Don't Mash Me popping in there. Absolute Zero coming out just to delay things. Prophet split off the side. Chris gets away, but that's going to be Echo down. Prophet goes down as well. Don't Mash Me and Zion Spartan cleaning up. That is exactly what they wanted.
You pick up the Oracles to get positioning control of Baron. It meant Dirtnap Gaming was worried about where they were going to go. Prawley thought he would be mobile enough on Caston to escape anything, but they killed him during the duration of a taunt. JD Wu's going to try to steal this, but I don't think he can get it.
He tries to come in. He's never going to get even anywhere near it. He gets taunted away from it, and they just back completely away from the Baron and return to do the damage, and it will be picked up for the entire team. So, wow, a 4-0 that one fight overextended.
I Am Anjo's Oracle's really turning the tide there. They cleared out every single little bit of vision, picked it up.
7-0-2 now on Don't Mash Me. He has got the ideal build. We're going to get a replay, really, of how it all worked, and it was simply Prawley getting caught.
It was a matter of clearing out everything with the wards. Doesn't look like the last fight, unfortunately. Go back to live.
But, I mean,
the fight itself was just 4 members sitting in a brush. All the wards have been cleared. Prawley didn't expect that brush. They got a taunt.
He was just like, I'm going to get a quick peek towards the Baron. Bang, got caught straight out there, no problem. Yeah, I mean, it's a straightforward. And once one of your main carries gets taken down that quick and that hard, everybody else should just disengage. But kind of natural reactions are, I need to defend my teammate, and everyone went in.
Especially since Prawley is generally the guy who calls a lot of the team fight engages for them. Once he goes down, communication lines are lost.
Yeah. Natural reaction comes in, but can he get on towards Nintendo Dex here? The jungler on Shen has taunted and flashed away. Hasn't going to get slow though. Probably didn't quite have the reset cooldown just up yet. And instead Good Game University are going to continue pushing on the top lane. Of course, Nintendo X can keep pushing on that bottom. He has got Stan United to rejoin them.
They got about 2.5 minutes left on this Baron buff as well. They know Prawley just spent a good portion of his mana bottom lane. He won't be able to make it up for this turret defense. Should be another outer taken for GGU.
And there we are, evening things up once again as another inner turret goes down. Good Game University 5-5 in terms of turrets, and the gold stays close despite the fact there is a Baron currently on Good Game University.
The scariest thing about all this is the fact that Vayne is 7-0-2 and has a Nunu behind him, and he's going completely glass cannon. So that's actually scary for both teams, because if they don't get to Don't Mash Me, if they can't touch him, he will pretty much kill everyone extremely quickly. But because he went for that build, there is the chance he could get picked off if he does something stupid.
Yeah, and with Prawley in there, he's the ideal person to try and Despin. If you can get Prawley and JD Wu to combine to dive on towards Don't Mash Me, I'm guessing that's what they're going to aim at. Then yeah, it could well be a scary thing, but of course you're going to be diving in there damn well that Karthus, and you could probably get taunted by Nintendo Dex.
Yep, and the Nintendo Dex Ultimate is going to be pretty much reserved exclusively for Don't Mash Me in a team fight scenario, so he's a lot healthier than he looks.
Prophet taking a couple of bolts there, and you see immediately how much damage that does do. 12-5 currently in kills, but don't let that fool you. This game is still on a knife's edge. Despite the fact Baron buff is on Good Game University yet, they're still yet to get in and get one of those Baron turrets. Once one of these inhibitor turrets goes down, a Baron turret, that would be an interesting thing to see. I guess that's kind of what it is. It's a standing turret right there. But as it stands, Dirtnap Gaming are going to try and fend this one off. I don't think they're going to go through with this wave.
You can see Nintendo Dex trying to split push mid a little bit against Prawley. That's the right guy to be defending, in all honesty. Prawley can get back quite quickly, can definitely interrupt Nintendo Dex's shield if he wants to teleport in. But the fact that they're taking Prawley away from the fighting means it's going to be very difficult for Dirtnap Gaming to create anything. Nocturne to go in, JD Wu needs a buddy. Otherwise, he will go in and die immediately to Karthus, Nunu, and Vayne. Unless he's going in with Prawley, it's not going to work. But since Prawley's stuck with Shen, they can't do it.
They've pinged it. They said, Prawley is here. Reckon you guys could probably push this one. Nintendo Dex is like, I'm fine keeping this guy here. Prawley, he could come in. I see why he's sitting there. He wants to use the Null Sphere to interrupt the Nintendo Dex's Stand United.
He does. And if he did that, it would be fine for GGU, because they're trading a 99 farm jungler for a 244 farm AP mid Kassadin. They're completely fine having that trade happen.
As it is, Nintendo X is going to pick himself up a free dragon, and the rest of the team are going to back away. This has delayed the Baron long enough, though.
I don't think they care. In all honesty, like, they have Nunu Vayne. If he hits 6 items, there's going to be no stopping him. Karthus is getting stronger and stronger. They are in absolutely no rush to do something silly against Dirtnap Gaming. They know what's on the line. I mean, they win 2 games. They're into Season 3. They've practiced a lot against Dirtnap Gaming. They know probably their potential of coming back. They know their own GGU's potential to throw. They're taking this one slow.
Taking it nice and slow. Everybody goes back. Everybody buys. And remember, Good Game University just had quite an extended 4-minute siege there. And we do see the boots, the attack boots actually upgrade coming out on the Berserker Greaves of Don't Mash Me, as well as another BF Sword. I expect that to be an Infinity Edge going on there, just to really top off the scariness factor of that 7-0-2 Vayne with the Nunu stacked behind him. Graves is simply not going to be able to compete with that.
Not even close at this point. I mean, you just look at the gold. It's 12,700 for Don't Mash Me and 9,950 for Echo's Graves. Then you factor in the absolute gold value from a max Blood Boil, giving 65% attack speed and 15% movement speed. It really just becomes much larger than that already 3,000 gold advantage.
As it is, Nintendo Dex is back down the bottom and farming away, as every good Shen will do. Is just split push away with the Sunfire Cape on and do what you please. The rest of GGU start to stack up. They're going to push in the top and middle lane. As it stands, the middle lane seems to be the target. I would expect it to be the top, actually. Kind of just keep that wave going. I think they're just waiting, try and get that last inner turret.
And if I was Dirtnap Gaming right now, I'd think they're looking for some kind of engage pretty soon. They don't have a split push going. They've waited out the Baron of Good Game University. They know that GGU is just going to get stronger and stronger. If they see a window, I'd expect JD Wu and Prawley to just dive in together. Win or lose, it's probably going to be a disadvantageous fight, but they need to do something.
They're trying to defend Prawley there. Probably getting taunted by Nintendo Dex. The rest of the team were trying to collapse around him, but they were like, no, back away. They are all coming down towards you, and they're just going to go clear that huge wave up the top. Another monster wave of minions for Don't Mash Me to pick up.
They might actually send Zion Spartan up there. He has not really gotten going this game. He's the
Chris.
assist farm, Katarina. And Chris, don't get caught out here.
Has to use the Ragnarok, and you can see Don't Mash Me turns her on. Can he get on towards him? No, he cannot, but Chris had to use his ulti to get out of that.
That's really tough. They really needed Chris's Ghost and ultimate in a team fight if they wanted to get anywhere near Don't Mash Me. If he doesn't have those spells for a fight, it's not going to happen.
Stan United used. Stan United used there on towards Don't Mash Me. He thought he was in trouble there against Prolly, so that's kind of baited that one out as well.
Interestingly enough, that's a pretty long cooldown for Nintendo X. 165 more seconds, so maybe that'll be the trade-off, right? Chris can't ghost into a fight, but Nintendo X cannot shield Don't Mash Me's Vayne in a fight as well. But you can really just see the fact that JD Wu has used, I believe, 2 Nocturne ultimates in 35 minutes. It just goes to show how passive GGU has been and how they have not provided appropriate windows for Dirtnap Gaming to engage on them.
Yeah, they've not been able to get in there, and consequently, he's gone very tanky, actually. Tanky Nocturne. Knows damn well he's going to be diving deep with that Bulwark on. Ooh, hello. Prophet's been well out of position here. He has got an Oracle on as well. They're going to try and get it down towards him. Instead, they realized the wards had gone in there.
And have we seen this before? The last time they had the Oracles and they pulled around Baron, this is pretty much how they took control of the game. How is Dirtnap Gaming going to deal with it this time? They got to try to fight soon.
They're going to try and get in there. You can see the poke damage going on towards it. They're going to try and see if they can burst that Oracle down. He has to flash away. And he did manage to escape it this time. They have an Oracle of their own, though, this time, Jack.
Both teams trying to fight for vision. Prophet there.
Oh,
there's the Karthus wall. Ulti as well.
Don't Mash Me has managed to use his ultimate. Can he catch on towards it? He's using it on Chris, though. And Chris probably the most tankiest target on the team. Prolly's going to get caught out there. The Lulu ultimate. And Prolly does manage to pop down Don't Mash Me. Where is the damage now going to come from? Good Game University. It's going to come from Karthus. Prolly goes in. He realizes he's trying to try and get in there. Tried to interrupt it. And Shifter was using it out without dying there.
And even though they picked up Don't Mash Me, JD Wu popped his ultimate and decided against it. He didn't go back in. Once the Requiem came up, they thought they'd already lost the fight. They were going to trade 1 for 1. There was an opportunity to trade 2 for 2. He probably could have went in and killed Karthus, but he decided not to. 1 for 1, but that seemed like the best that DNG was going to do. It's so hard for them to fight GGU right now.
I just feel that JD Wu, I mean, probably basically turned around. The call came late. It was like, he's using his ulti. We can kill him before he uses it.
He tried to just go in and dump as much damage as possible. He couldn't quite get in range to silence the ultimate as well, but it's just a tricky situation. I was really impressed with how quickly he blew up Don't Mash Me, though.
Well, Prophet's Oracle has run out, so he's not been able to clear any more wards, so they are going to go back about their business. Pings go down. Oh, they realize that Prophet is there. Oh, he was teleporting back next to that. Nintendo X wanted to just get one blade onto his face to stop him backing off, but it didn't happen.
You can tell Good Game University just yelled at Don't Mash Me and said, why do you have 14,000 gold and no magic resist? Because he died in about half a second to Prolly. Picked up the Negatron Cloak almost immediately. Going to make him even more threatening and dangerous in the next team fight.
Would that be the Mercurial Blade, or is he just going to go straight for Quicksilver Sash, which he's just picked up? It could be the Mercurial Blade.
He's probably going to do whatever he wants with that. The upgrade cost between QSS and BF Sword to Mercurial Scimitar is pretty quick, but if he wants optimal damage, he's going to want to get that Infinity Edge next. So it's going to be a matter of if he wants temporary gain or long-term gain.
We'll see what he does at the moment. And the fact that he was also targeting Chris in that last fight. Chris was happy to take the damage from Don't Mash Me.
Wasn't too happy about it. He had to ghost ult away at the start of that. I mean, Olaf is the person they want to be hitting him, but you need to be going in when you're taking that damage. You can't be running away. Vayne is the Night Hunter. She loves chasing down people. It doesn't matter if you're not hitting her back.
The Night Hunter. You're pulling the lore out now. I like it. Bam. This is we're going to be stepping into new realms of commentating here. We're going to have Jat starting to learn all of the lore of all the champions. He's going to have to bring you lore.
Did you know Graves and TF were rivals?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
As it's done. Graves and TF.
Mm.
Those Graves and Nocturne.
No, Graves and TF.
I did not know that. That's see, I'm learning as I cast.
There you go.
As I often do when I'm alongside you. As it is, though, Dirtnap Gaming, they're going to pick up a dragon of their own. And that's going to try and pull the gold a little bit closer. It's 3k gold difference, but that's not a great deal when you're looking at 50,000 plus gold. 40-minute game. We saw a very long first game between Fear and Me Playground in the last match. I'm losing matches already. Despite the fact that I sat there staring at them for 50 minutes straight. And this is identical.
Yeah, that's the brush that probably got caught in. They're not letting that happen twice. Chris fired that X in there. It's like, no, not a person. And they were gone. But they're sneaking around the backside. They pinged it, though. They're kind of expecting it, but they still have no vision. They're going to catch him once they come through that brush, or they saw that ward especially.
Oh, they're going to go around straight towards the turret. Are they going to come around the backside?
Ooh, this is forcing a fight.
I was getting flashbacks of Baron as a race there, but instead Chris is going to be the man up front. He wants to take the damage. Don't Match Me again is there. You can see they're just trying to bide the time. This is a good escape. Are they going to go for it? Probably saying nope. He's going to ulti away, and they're just going to have a little merry dance around the backside there. Well, Good Game University in the perfect position to push on and force the fight. They're saying we're either going to take your inner or we're going to actually force you away and kill you. But instead, it is going to be the inner turret they go for.
Nice maneuvering there. I'm not even sure how they managed to come from behind them to get the turret that they came by, but it's another one, 6-5 now, and you can tell DirtNap Gaming just doesn't want a piece of them.
They don't want a straight-up fight right now, and why would you? You don't want to get an open fight, especially with a Zion Spartan on Katarina, a Shifter on Karthus. There's a whole lot of ground to cover. You know you're going to have to go through that wall of pain to get there, literal wall of pain as well.
And this is actually a really bad situation right now for DirtNap Gaming. That creep wave in the bottom lane is probably enough to take their inhibitor turret, but Echo has to be up there because the Baron is being forced with an Oracles. So the longer GGU can hold off on this, the less time DirtNap Gaming has to pull something off. They're going straight up mid, trying to force something big to happen. Looks like they're going for Baron.
They're going for Baron. Are they going to react? You can see DirtNap Gaming now starting to head this way. I expect to see Prolly zipping across. The Baron is going to be gone. The Baron is too slow. Now DirtNap Gaming completely out of position. Well, Good Game University going to go for this one. They have got a lot of health. They could easily turn this into a fight. DirtNap Gaming just alongside them. Are they going to engage? They both stood staring at each other. Nobody wants to fight.
The base is going down. I mean, they're just running for the inhibitor. Good Game University has to just get there. DirtNap Gaming recalling back.
They're going to get down there in time. You can see the Blood Bowl is going to speed up. Shifter's legging it across there. When I can see that inhibitor turret is going to go down. The first turret of the game. And now they're bound up with a turret down. And now DirtNap Gaming are thinking, damn it, why did we fight a moment ago? We're going to try and fight. Now they're fighting. This was a safe fight for them a moment ago. They're going for I Am Anjo, the last person they want. You can see Don't Match Me. He pops the ultimate, turns it around. Prolly is the target. Prolly gets the Lulu ultimate, but he's going to get caught out. And now they see immediately, that's a great ulti from Echo. Does catch him out. You can see the Requiem come down. Shifter picks them one, picks them two. Zion Spawn gets the reset, comes in, gets another, and Don't Match Me picking up on the fountain there. He does manage to get the kill. JD Wu, the last man standing, but that surely will be the game.
Just the aggression at the end there, Zion Spartan, knowing he needed to take down those guys before they'd be able to stop the final Nexus push. Waited too long to engage. It was the story for DirtNap Gaming. This looks like the end.
Absolutely great play from Good Game University. Simply tactical maneuver in there. Superb play. And really, whoever was making the calls in that fight was fantastic. And we're seeing a belt.
Don't Match Me's Elmo belt, or whatever that was.
And whatever that was, lack of muscles. Bro, do you even lift?
Well, they are nothing if they're not super excited and pumped. That was a very long, tense game for them. You can see they know they're one game away exactly as Nintendo Dex goes off there. They seem like they had DirtNap Gaming's number in that one.
That was just fantastic tactical calling. The fact that they were at that point and they could have fought when they were maneuvering around the Baron, they were going around the sides. That was the point. They wanted to fight, but once they'd lost the inhibitor turret against the Baron team, they should have just stepped away. It's like, we're going to lose the inhibitor here. There's nothing we could do. I could fight them on a double Nexus turret, maybe. But they just went in, and it was like, I know bloodlust sort of kicked in. It was like, well, if you weren't fighting them a minute ago, why are you fighting them now?
It was one of those situations where they realized that they were going to lose if they didn't fight. They'd already not fought for long enough, so they decided they had to fight at that exact moment.
Yeah, and we're going to get a look at exactly how that worked out from the players' minds.
17. Watch out, man. They might try to initiate after this. They might try to initiate.
Here he comes, here he comes.
I'm good. Keep fighting. Kite back. All off. Casting. I got cast. Get cast. Flash again. Hourglass.
I can't see you, Mash. I can't see you.
I'm ulting. Probably
get the inhib.
Probably dead.
Holy shit. I'm ulting you, Zion. That's worth it.
Nice.
Yeah, baby.
Hit it. Yeah, baby.
Let's go. GGU.
Could that be the new chant?
GGU.
It's
their chant.
That's their chant. Trying to turn it from a TSM or a CLG. We're going to get GGU. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe it could be a thing. So, fantastic tactical play from Good Game University. And really, you know, you called it from earlier on. The fact that the Vayne with the Blood Boil of Nunu, he'd got the items, he'd got the stacks, he was 7-0-2 before that fight even began. He was starting to farm like crazy. Don't Mash Me did a brilliant job in that fight.
It was the whole team's ability to keep him alive in all the fights.
Yes.
They had enough peel. There was so much threat by Shifter's Karthus just being that front line Karthus that no one could get past for him. You can protect Vayne just by having other threats, and they did a great job of that the whole game.
And Nintendo Dex did a fantastic job of keeping Prolly busy completely down that bottom lane. He's the jungler versus the AP mid, and he's just like, well, I'm going to keep you fighting, keep you fighting. There was that one moment he did question the Stand United being used, but honestly, outside of that, they were fine. And like you mentioned, that Oracle, the Oracle kind of won the game.
They were playing it safe really the entire time. The Oracle was the one move they really made to get a big edge. They got the edge, and from there, it was conservative play. In all honesty, we were expecting beforehand just this kind of crazy game with back and forths. But when teams have played themselves so many times, they really know the ward spots, most of the attack spots, and they're very cautious with how they proceed on the map.
And you saw the axe going in towards the end there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after these messages and see if Good Game University will secure their spot in Season 3 against Dirtnap Gaming. Do not go anywhere.